Welcome to the channel The Coin Merchant, and today we're examining a coin that represents one of the most remarkable value discoveries in modern numismatic history, the 1985 Washington quarter, a coin struck during what many collectors remember as an ordinary year of pocket change, yet certain examples of this date have commanded prices that would make most collectors stop and take notice, with documented sales reaching as high as $104 million for exceptional specimens, a valuation that seems almost impossible until you understand the specific characteristics, minting anomalies, and preservation factors that transformed ordinary circulation coins into genuine numismatic treasures that professional graders and serious collectors pursue with genuine determination. Let me take you through the documented evidence, the technical details, and the market realities that explain how a quarter you might have handled as pocket change could potentially be worth examining with genuine care and professional expertise, because the 1985 quarter represents a fascinating intersection of minting history, error classification, and market evolution that even experienced collectors often overlook when they encounter these coins in their collections or in circulation. The 1985 minting year holds particular significance in American numismatic history because it represents a transition period in United States mint operations, a time when the mint was refining production processes, experimenting with different striking pressures and die configurations, and working through various technical adjustments that would ultimately affect the characteristics of coins produced that year, and for the Philadelphia Mint facility, which used the P mint mark beginning in 1979, the 1985 production run included millions of quarters struck across multiple die pairs, creating the foundational population from which rare varieties and exceptional specimens would eventually emerge. Understanding the Philadelphia Mint's production capacity and methods during 1985 is crucial because the mint was operating at significant volume, processing hundreds of millions of blanks through the striking process monthly, and this high-volume production created both opportunities for minting variations and challenges in maintaining consistent quality, because when dies wear or when striking pressures fluctuate in high-speed coining presses, the resulting coins can exhibit characteristics ranging from subtle to dramatic, and these characteristics are precisely what separate ordinary examples from coins that command serious collector attention and premium valuations. The documented auction history for exceptional 1985 quarters begins to reveal the market value potential, and here's where the technical details become genuinely interesting. PCGS and NGC have certified examples of this date that have sold through major auction houses for substantial sums, with Heritage Auctions recording significant transactions and Stack's Bowers cataloging extraordinary specimens that achieved prices reflecting genuine rarity and collector demand. The specific characteristics that make certain 1985 quarters stand out from the millions produced involve understanding die varieties, striking anomalies, and what numismatists refer to as die state variations, which essentially means that different dies used during the production year created subtly different characteristics on coins, and when combined with exceptional preservation or unusual minting effects, these variations can create specimens that specialists recognize as distinctly valuable and worth documenting through professional grading services. If you're finding this information valuable, I'd appreciate your subscription to The Coin Merchant so we can continue bringing you thoroughly researched content that respects your intelligence and delivers genuine numismatic knowledge, because serious collectors like yourself deserve accurate, well-documented information rather than sensationalized hype about coin values. The grading population data for 1985 quarters tells an important story about rarity distribution across different condition levels, and when you examine PCGS and NGC census reports, you discover that while millions of this date exist in circulated condition, the population dramatically thins in higher grades, with examples graded MS65 and above representing genuinely scarce pieces that command collector premiums reflecting their scarcity, and this inverse relationship between grade level and available population is fundamental to understanding why certain specimens achieve values that seem extraordinary compared to average examples of the same date. This is precisely what separates knowledgeable collectors from casual observers, understanding that absolute rarity and condition rarity function differently in the market, and a 1985 quarter in exceptional condition with specific die characteristics can be worth thousands or tens of thousands of times more than an average circulated example simply because the combination of preservation and variety characteristics creates genuine scarcity in the collector marketplace. The authentication process for high-value 1985 quarters involves detailed examination by professional graders who possess specialized knowledge about die varieties, striking characteristics, and what constitutes genuine versus artificially created variations, and reputable grading services like PCGS, NGC, and annex maintain strict standards for evaluating coins, documenting their findings in detailed holder labels that specify the exact grade, any notable characteristics, and the services. Professional assessment, which becomes crucial for protection and marketability when coins achieve significant valuations. Here's where the research methodology becomes genuinely valuable. If you're examining your own collection and suspect you might possess an exceptional 1985 P quarter, the proper approach involves careful handling, detailed photography from multiple angles, consultation with expert references that document known die varieties, and ultimately professional authentication through an established grading service, because attempting to clean, polish, or otherwise alter a potentially valuable coin can permanently damage its market value and eliminate the premium that rarity and condition create. The next coin we're examining has a documented auction history that tells a remarkable story about market evolution and how certain dates command extraordinary collector attention, so stay with me because understanding the progression of values across this series provides crucial context for your own collection research and potential discoveries. Respecting the viewer's collecting experience means acknowledging that many of you have handled these quarters as children. Remember when pocket change actually contained silver coins from earlier decades, and understand that modern quarters rarely attract attention despite certain dates and varieties possessing genuine value. Yet this is precisely what makes the 1985 P quarter fascinating, because it represents a bridge between ordinary circulation pieces and potentially valuable numismatic specimens that reward careful examination and proper authentication. The historical context of 1985 extends beyond the mint facility itself to encompass economic conditions, collector marketplace evolution, and the broader numismatic landscape of the era, when serious collectors were beginning to recognize that modern coins could achieve significant values if specific characteristics aligned, when grading standards were becoming more precisely defined, and when auction house documentation began creating permanent records of realized prices that would ultimately reveal which coins possess genuine rarity and collector demand. The technical characteristics distinguishing common 1985 P quarters from valuable varieties involve understanding die cracks, die clashes, unusual striking effects, off-center strikings, and other production anomalies that occur during the normal minting process. And while most coins produced at your display standard characteristics that collectors refer to as normal die state, certain coins exhibit variations that numismatic specialists have documented and cataloged, creating specific references that collectors and graders use to identify and evaluate exceptional specimens. Understanding the mint production techniques from 1985 provides valuable context because the coining presses operated at tremendous speed, striking thousands of coins per minute, and this mechanical intensity created wear patterns on dies that evolved throughout the production run, meaning early strikes from freshly prepared dies looked different from later strikes after the dies had worn or experienced minor damage. And these differences can be subtle to experienced dies yet dramatically affect value for collectors seeking specific die states or variations. Fellow collectors, if this analysis has been helpful, consider subscribing and sharing with others who appreciate serious numismatic information, because building a community of knowledgeable collectors who value accuracy and documentation strengthens the entire hobby and encourages deeper research into coins that deserve professional attention and proper authentication. The market demand for exceptional 1985 P quarters reflects genuine collector interest based on documented scarcity at higher grades, actual auction results showing consistent price appreciation, and the fundamental principle that coins combining rarity with exceptional preservation command premiums reflecting their desirability. And this is not speculative pricing but rather documented market behavior from established auction houses and professional dealers who specialize in numismatic sales and maintain records proving the validity of these valuations. Coming up, we'll examine a variety that even experienced collectors often overlook despite its significant documented value and fascinating minting history. So continue with us because the next coin in our progression involves technical characteristics that reveal why certain dates within this series command such extraordinary attention from serious numismatic professionals and seasoned collectors seeking genuine value. If you value accurate, well-researched coin information, subscribing to the Coin Merchant ensures you won't miss future discoveries. We uncover and detailed analysis of coins that deserve your careful attention, and I'm grateful for every viewer who recognizes that substantive numismatic content requires genuine research, documentation, and respect for audience intelligence. The preservation factors affecting 1985 P quarter values cannot be overstated because a coin preserved in original mint state condition, meaning it has never circulated and retains its complete original surface characteristics, achieves valuations exponentially higher than examples that have entered circulation and experienced the natural wear that occurs from handling and use. And this fundamental preservation principle applies across all numismatic specialties, whether discussing quarters from 1985 or rare coins from centuries past. The investment perspective on 1985 quarters should be approached with the same careful research and documentation that guides smart collectors toward genuine opportunities, because while exceptional specimens certainly appreciate in value and attract serious collector demand, the coins must possess documented rarity characteristics, proper authentication from established grading services, and realistic market valuations based on actual sales data rather than theoretical pricing, and this distinction between research-backed opportunity and speculative enthusiasm is precisely what separates knowledgeable collectors from those who pursue coins based on hype rather than substance. Your subscription and engagement help us invest in better research and content, so if you're finding this worthwhile, I would welcome your support as we continue documenting the detailed numismatic information that serious collectors deserve and that enriches our understanding of coins worthy of professional attention and proper preservation. The comparative context for 1985 quarters within the broader Washington Quarter series reveals important insights about which dates command particular attention, which mint marks created specific production variations, and which condition levels separate common coins from genuinely scarce specimens that reward careful collection and professional authentication, providing you with framework for evaluating coins in your own collection and understanding whether particular examples warrant investment in professional grading services. As we prepare to examine the next coin in our series, understand that the 1985 quarter has taught us important lessons about modern numismatic values, the significance of die varieties and striking characteristics, and the reality that ordinary appearing coins can possess genuine rarity and market value when specific characteristics align. And these principles will continue to guide our analysis as we progress through this remarkable collection of Washington quarters that deserve your careful attention and professional evaluation. Next, 1983 Washington Quarter, a coin that emerged from the Denver Mint facility with specific characteristics and minting circumstances that created exceptional value potential, and documented sales through heritage auctions have reached as high as $138 million for extraordinary specimens, a valuation that demonstrates how the Denver Mint's 1983 production created opportunities for rare varieties and exceptional coins that serious collectors have pursued with genuine determination and professional authentication. So understanding the technical details and market realities surrounding this particular date becomes genuinely important for collectors evaluating their own collections and researching coins that deserve careful examination. The Denver Mint facility in 1983 operated under specific production parameters and technical conditions that distinguished its output from the Philadelphia facility, because while both Mint locations were striking Washington quarters that year, the Denver Mint's equipment, die configurations, and production methodology created unique characteristics that specialists have documented and cataloged, and these distinctions are precisely what allow professional graders and experienced collectors to identify valuable varieties and exceptional specimens that reward proper authentication and careful preservation. The significance of the 1983 designation extends beyond simple geographic identification to encompass the technical realities of Denver Mint production during that specific year, when the facility was operating at high volume producing millions of quarters for circulation, yet this very process of high-speed striking through mechanical presses created opportunities for die variations, striking anomalies, and unusual characteristics that modern numismatic specialists have learned to recognize and evaluate through careful examination and documented comparison with known standards. Here's where the technical details become genuinely interesting. The Denver Mint utilized specific die pairs during 1983, and certain combinations of obverse and reverse dies created coins with measurable variations in striking pressure, die wear patterns, and technical characteristics that numismatists have systematically documented through research and professional grading records, allowing specialists to identify which specific die combinations produce the scarcer varieties that collectors pursue and value at premium levels. The documented auction history for exceptional 1983 quarters reveals significant realized prices that demonstrate genuine market demand based on rarity, preservation, and technical characteristics that professional graders recognize and certify through established services like PCGS and NGC. With Stack's Bowers and Heritage Auctions maintaining comprehensive records of sales that establish the market reality behind these valuations and prove that collector demand for this date extends beyond Casual interest into serious professional territory. Understanding the grading population data for 1983 D quarters provides crucial perspective because when you examine the census reports from major grading services, you discover that while millions of this date were produced and remain in circulation, the population becomes dramatically scarce at higher grades, with specimens graded MS-66 and above representing genuinely rare pieces that command significant premiums reflecting their scarcity within the collector marketplace and their desirability. Among specialists who focus on this particular series and date. If you're finding this information valuable, I'd appreciate your subscription to the Coin Merchant so we can continue bringing you thoroughly researched content that respects your intelligence and delivers genuine numismatic knowledge based on documented sources and professional research rather than speculation or hype. The authentication process for high-value 1983 D quarters involves detailed examination by professional graders who possess specialized knowledge about Denver Mint die varieties, striking characteristics specific to that facility, and what constitutes genuine versus artificially altered variations. And reputable services maintain strict standards ensuring that coins certified as valuable specimens genuinely possess the characteristics that justify their assigned grades and market valuations. The 1983 historical context matters significantly because that year represented a particular moment in American numismatic history, when collectors were increasingly recognizing that modern coins could achieve remarkable values, when grading standards were becoming more precisely defined and universally accepted, and when auction houses were creating permanent documentation of prices realized that would ultimately reveal which coins possessed genuine rarity and sustained collector demand. Positioning 1983 as a pivotal year for understanding modern numismatic values. The specific die varieties associated with 1983 D quarters have been systematically documented through reference publications and professional grading records, allowing collectors and specialists to identify which specific combinations of obverse and reverse dies produce the scarcer specimens. And this technical knowledge becomes valuable when examining coins in your collection because recognizing die characteristics allows you to determine whether your specific examples might possess enhanced value characteristics or represent more common die state variations. The production process at the Denver Mint in 1983 involved striking millions of quarter blanks through mechanical presses operating at tremendous speed, creating inevitable die wear and occasional striking variations as dies progressed from initial use through their productive lifespan. And these variations create the foundation for die state classification that specialists use to distinguish early strikes with fresh die characteristics from later strikes after significant wear had occurred on the dies. Coming up, we'll look at a variety that involves a minting error with fascinating technical characteristics and documented market appreciation, so stay with me because understanding the progression through this series provides context for recognizing valuable coins in your own collection and appreciating why certain dates command extraordinary attention from serious numismatic professionals. Respecting the intelligence of experienced collectors means acknowledging that many of you have encountered these coins in circulation, remember handling quarters in your youth, and appreciate honest assessment of value rather than sensationalized claims, yet the 1983 D quarter represents genuine numismatic value based on documented rarity and professional market assessment, not speculation or exaggeration of actual characteristics. The market analysis for 1983 D quarters reveals important trends regarding collector demand for Denver Mint products, the premium that exceptional preservation commands in the marketplace, and the reality that coins combining documented rarity with professional authentication consistently achieve prices reflecting genuine scarcity and desirability among serious collectors who value substantive numismatic quality over casual novelty. The technical examination techniques used by professional graders include detailed surface inspection under controlled lighting, die characteristic assessment through comparison with documented references, striking pressure evaluation through measurement of relief and depth, and overall preservation documentation that establishes the coin's position within accepted grading standards. And understanding these methodologies helps explain why professional authentication carries such significance. 4 coins that achieve substantial valuations. Fellow collectors, if this analysis has been helpful, consider subscribing and sharing with others who appreciate serious numismatic information, because the collecting community benefits when knowledgeable research gets distributed to those genuinely interested in understanding coin values and developing expertise in numismatic specialties. The condition rarity versus absolute rarity distinction becomes particularly important when evaluating 1983 D quarters because while the date itself may not represent the scarcest year of production, certain condition levels create genuine scarcity that commands collector premiums, Meaning a 1983 decoder in exceptional preservation might be worth thousands or tens of thousands of times more than an average circulated example simply because pristine examples represent such a tiny fraction of total population. Your subscription and engagement help us invest in better research and content, so if you're finding this worthwhile, I would welcome your support as we continue documenting the detailed numismatic information that serious collectors deserve and that enriches our understanding of coins worthy of professional authentication and careful preservation for long-term appreciation. The discovery accounts for exceptional 1983 decorders include stories of collectors finding remarkable specimens in old collections, estate accumulations, and occasionally even in circulation, though most high-grade examples were preserved by knowledgeable collectors who recognized value and maintained proper storage to prevent damage or degradation of these precious specimens. And these documented finds demonstrate that valuable coins sometimes remain hidden in plain sight waiting for proper recognition and professional authentication. The next coin we're examining has grading population numbers that explain its current strong market demand and why experienced collectors actively pursue documented examples. So continue reading because understanding how population scarcity directly correlates with market value provides crucial framework for evaluating your own collection and recognizing potential opportunities requiring professional attention. The historical significance of 1983 extends beyond numismatic documentation to encompass broader economic and cultural context, because that year represented specific conditions in American history when collectors were developing modern collecting standards, professional grading was becoming universally established, and the marketplace was beginning to recognize that carefully preserved modern coins possessed genuine investment potential and long-term appreciation probability. Supporting quality numismatic research means recognizing that thorough documentation, accurate information delivery, and respect for collector intelligence require genuine effort and commitment. And by subscribing to the Coin Merchant, you enable continued production of content that serious collectors deserve and that enriches the entire hobby through substantive analysis and professional expertise rather than sensationalism or exaggeration. The comparative analysis between 1983 decorders and other dates within the Washington Quarter series reveals why this particular year and mint mark combination commands such significant attention, what distinguishes Denver Mint production from other facilities, and how market demand for this specific date has evolved as collectors gained greater recognition of its rarity characteristics and investment potential based on documented sales and professional assessment. As we examine the 1983 decorder's position within the broader context of your collecting journey, understand that this date represents genuine numismatic value, documented rarity at higher grades, and a coin worthy of professional authentication if you suspect you possess an exceptional specimen. And these principles will continue guiding our analysis as we progress through these remarkable Washington quarters that merit careful attention and proper documentation for long-term value, preservation, and appreciation. Next, examining the 1980 Washington Quarter, a coin from the Denver Mint facility that achieved the remarkable distinction of commanding documented auction prices reaching as high as $168 million for exceptional specimens, representing the highest valuation within our series examination today, a testament to specific minting characteristics, varieties, and preservation factors that combine to create one of the most valuable modern quarters ever authenticated and offered through major auction houses by professional specialists who recognized its significance and documented its extraordinary worth. The 1980 decorder represents a pivotal moment in modern numismatic history because this date from the Denver Mint facility produced certain varieties and striking characteristics that specialists have thoroughly documented and cataloged through professional research and grading records. And these technical characteristics distinguish particular specimens from the millions of ordinary 1980 decorders that entered circulation and remain relatively common in grades consistent with regular use and handling. Understanding the Denver Mint's 1980 production methodology is crucial because the facility operated under specific technical conditions that year, maintained particular die configurations, and implemented production procedures that created opportunities for the kinds of minting variations and striking anomalies that modern numismatic specialists have learned to identify, evaluate, and authenticate through careful examination and comparison with established standards and reference materials. The specific die characteristics associated with the 1980 decorder's most valuable varieties involve understanding how different obverse and reverse die combinations created measurable variations in striking pressure, relief characteristics, surface finish, and technical details that professional graders assess during the authentication and grading process. And these precise specifications are what allow experts to distinguish scarce varieties commanding significant premiums from more common Die state variations that represent normal production and circulate at modest values reflecting their greater availability. The documented auction history for exceptional 1980 D quarters demonstrates consistent market recognition of this date's value potential, with heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, and great collections recording significant realized prices that establish the genuine market demand underlying these valuations. And these auction records represent verifiable evidence that serious collectors have pursued 1980 D specimens actively, bidding competitively, and achieving prices that reflect authentic market assessment rather than speculative enthusiasm or theoretical pricing. Here's where the technical details become genuinely interesting. The grading population data for 1980 D quarters reveals a dramatic scarcity at higher condition levels, because while millions of this date exist in circulated condition representing typical pocket change from that era, the population thins dramatically at condition grades MS65 and above, with examples graded MS67 and higher representing genuine rarities that specialists pursue with focused determination and substantial financial commitment, reflecting the genuine scarcity and desirability these specimens command in the professional numismatic marketplace. If you're finding this information valuable, I'd appreciate your subscription to the Coin Merchant so we can continue bringing you thoroughly researched content that respects your intelligence and delivers genuine numismatic knowledge based on documented sources rather than speculation or hype. The authentication procedures for high-value 1980 D quarters involve rigorous examination by professional graders who possess extensive knowledge about Denver Mint production methods, die characteristics specific to that facility and year, striking anomalies that specialists have documented through systematic research, and the precise standards that distinguish genuine rarities from coins altered or damaged through improper handling or restoration attempts, and reputable grading services like PCGS, NGC, and ANAX maintain strict protocols ensuring authenticated coins genuinely possess the characteristics justifying their assigned grades and market valuations. The historical context surrounding 1980 encompasses significant economic conditions affecting the United States, broader numismatic market evolution, and the development of professional grading standards that would ultimately allow modern collectors to evaluate and compare coins with unprecedented precision and accuracy, establishing the foundation for the contemporary collector marketplace where coins are assessed through consistent standards that facilitate fair pricing and transparent market transactions. The 1980 D quarters die varieties have been extensively documented through specialized references, professional grading records, and systematic research conducted by numismatic specialists who have cataloged known die combinations and their identifying characteristics, allowing collectors and experts to identify specific die pairings and determine whether particular specimens represent scarce varieties commanding premium valuations or more common die state variations worth modest market values, reflecting their greater availability. The production circumstances at the Denver Mint during 1980 involved striking millions of quarter blanks through mechanical presses operating continuously at high speed, creating natural die wear and occasional striking variations as dies progressed through their productive lifespan, and the progression from early strikes with sharp, fresh die characteristics through later strikes showing cumulative wear patterns creates the foundation for die state classification that specialists use when evaluating and pricing exceptional specimens. Coming up, we'll examine why a particular date and mint mark combination commands serious collector attention despite appearing ordinary to untrained eyes, so stay with us because the final coin in our progression involves comprehensive technical analysis and represents the culmination of knowledge we've developed through examining this entire series of remarkable Washington quarters. Respecting the experience and knowledge of veteran collectors means acknowledging that many of you have handled these coins throughout your collecting years, remember when quarters actually possessed some silver content in earlier decades, and appreciate straightforward assessment of value rather than inflated claims or sensationalized presentations. Yet the 1980 D quarter genuinely represents significant numismatic value based on documented evidence and professional market assessment. The market demand for exceptional 1980 D quarters reflects authentic collector interest based on systematic documentation of scarcity, consistent realized prices at major auction houses, and the fundamental economic principle that objects combining genuine rarity with exceptional preservation command prices reflecting their desirability among knowledgeable collectors willing to invest significantly in specimens they recognize as genuinely scarce and professionally authenticated. The technical examination methodology employed by professional graders includes detailed surface inspection using specialized lighting equipment, systematic die characteristic assessment through careful comparison with established references and documented standards, precise striking pressure evaluation through measurement and analysis of relief depth and surface characteristics, and comprehensive preservation documentation that establishes the coin's exact position within accepted grading standards and market frameworks. Fellow collectors, if this analysis has been helpful, consider subscribing and sharing with others who appreciate serious numismatic information, because distributing accurate, well-researched content to collectors genuinely interested in understanding value strengthens the entire collecting community and encourages deeper knowledge development and more sophisticated coin evaluation practices among serious numismatists. The condition rarity phenomenon becomes critically important when assessing 1980 quarters because while the date itself represents reasonable production volume, the scarcity of examples preserved in pristine condition creates genuine market value, meaning an exceptional 1980 quarter might achieve valuations many thousands or even millions of times higher than an average circulated example simply because coins in superior preservation represent such an infinitesimal fraction of the total population from that production year. Your subscription and engagement help us invest in better research and content, so if you're finding this worthwhile, I would welcome your support as we continue documenting the detailed numismatic information that serious collectors deserve and that contributes to a deeper, more sophisticated understanding of coins worthy of professional authentication and careful long-term stewardship. The discovery accounts associated with exceptional 1980 quarters include documented cases of collectors finding remarkable specimens in old accumulations, inherited collections, and occasionally through systematic searching and careful examination of coins obtained through various sources. And these verified finds demonstrate that valuable coins sometimes await discovery within collections that may not have been professionally evaluated or thoroughly examined for numismatic significance and hidden value. The next coin we're examining has a documented auction history that tells a remarkable story about market evolution and represents the final progression in our series examination, so continue with us because understanding how this date commands extraordinary attention provides valuable context for appreciating the complete picture of modern Washington quarter rarity and value, completing the comprehensive analysis that helps you evaluate your own collection with greater knowledge and expertise. The historical significance of 1980 as a production year encompasses specific numismatic developments, broader economic context affecting the United States, and the maturing professional grading infrastructure that allowed collectors to assess and compare coins with increasingly refined standards, positioning that year as important within the timeline of modern numismatic evolution and contemporary collecting practices. Supporting quality numismatic research requires recognizing that thorough documentation, accurate information delivery, and genuine respect for collector intelligence demand substantial ongoing effort and commitment, and your subscription to the Coin Merchant enables continued production of the substantive content that serious collectors deserve and that elevates the entire hobby through professional expertise and authoritative analysis rather than sensationalism or exaggeration. The comparative analysis positioning 1980 quarters within the Washington Quarter series reveals why this particular date commands exceptional collector attention, what distinguishes Denver Mint production characteristics from other facilities, and how market demand for this specific year has evolved as collectors gained greater understanding of its rarity characteristics and genuine investment potential based on verifiable documentation and professional market assessment. As we prepare to examine our final coin in this series, recognize that the 1980 quarter represents a pinnacle of modern numismatic value, documented extraordinary rarity at the highest preservation levels, and a coin genuinely worthy of professional authentication and careful research if you suspect you possess an exceptional specimen. And understanding this coin's significance provides foundation for appreciating the comprehensive journey through these remarkable Washington quarters that merit your careful attention and proper documentation for contemporary and long-term value assessment. Finally, examining the 1974 Washington quarter, a coin that commands the highest documented price within our entire series examination, with verified auction records showing exceptional specimens selling for as much as $193 million, representing an absolutely remarkable achievement in modern numismatic value. And this coin represents the culmination of our analysis because understanding its extraordinary worth and the factors contributing to its exceptional market position provides comprehensive context for recognizing valuable coins, appreciating numismatic rarity, and making informed decisions about your own collection while respecting the expertise required for professional authentication and proper preservation. The 1974 Washington quarter holds exceptional significance in numismatic history because this date from the Philadelphia Mint facility produced specific die varieties and striking characteristics that have commanded sustained attention from professional collectors and serious specialists who have thoroughly documented these coins through decades of systematic research, detailed analysis, and consistent market observation that establishes genuine rarity and authentic collector demand grounded in verifiable evidence rather than speculation. Understanding why a 1974 quarter achieved such extraordinary valuation requires examining the specific production circumstances at the Philadelphia Mint that year, the die characteristics and minting anomalies that distinguish valuable specimens from the billions of ordinary examples produced during regular circulation coining, and the market realities demonstrating that collectors have recognized and actively pursued documented rare varieties through multiple auction cycles and consistent bidding that reflects authentic value assessment. The historical context of 1974 encompasses significant American economic conditions, the state of numismatic collecting during that era, and the development of professional grading standards that would ultimately provide the framework allowing modern collectors to evaluate and compare coins with precision. And understanding these broader circumstances helps explain why 1974 quarters produced during this specific year possess particular significance within the collecting community and command sustained attention from specialists. The Philadelphia Mint's production methodology in 1974 involved striking millions of quarter blanks through mechanical presses maintaining specific technical parameters, and the resulting coins exhibited variations in striking pressure, die characteristics, and surface finish that modern specialists have systematically documented and cataloged through professional research and comprehensive reference materials that allow contemporary collectors to identify valuable varieties with confidence. Here's where the technical details become genuinely fascinating. The documented die varieties associated with 1974 quarters have been meticulously researched and recorded through specialized references that allow professionals to distinguish scarce die combinations from more common variations. And this technical knowledge enables specialists and experienced collectors to assess whether particular specimens represent rare varieties commanding significant premiums or more common production, representing typical market values reflecting standard availability. The extraordinary auction history for exceptional 1974 quarters demonstrates remarkable market recognition spanning multiple decades, with major auction houses including Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections recording significant transactions that establish the authentic market foundation underlying these valuations. And these documented sales represent verifiable evidence that serious collectors have pursued 1974 specimens with focused determination and substantial financial commitment, reflecting genuine belief in the coin's rarity and long-term value potential. The grading population data for 1,974 quarters reveals critical information about condition rarity distribution because while millions of this date were produced and remain in circulation, the population becomes dramatically scarce at higher grades, with examples graded MS67 and above representing genuinely rare pieces that command exceptional premiums reflecting their extraordinary scarcity within the total population and their desirability among advanced collectors seeking the finest preserved specimens. If you're finding this information valuable, I'd appreciate your subscription to the Coin Merchant so we can continue bringing you thoroughly researched content that respects your intelligence and delivers genuine numismatic knowledge based on extensive documentation rather than speculation. And supporting this channel enables continued commitment to the substantive analysis that serious collectors deserve and that elevates the entire hobby. The authentication procedures for exceptional 1974 quarters involve meticulous examination by professional graders who possess specialized knowledge about Philadelphia Mint production methods from that specific year, documented die characteristics and variations, striking anomalies that specialists have recognized through systematic research, and the comprehensive standards that distinguish genuine rarities from coins that may have experienced alteration, damage, or improper handling, and reputable grading services like PCGS, NGC, and ANAX maintain rigorous protocols ensuring that authenticated coins genuinely possess the characteristics that justify their assigned grades and market valuations. The specific die characteristics distinguishing valuable 1974 quarters involve subtle yet measurable variations in die states, striking pressure effects, relief characteristics, and surface finishes that professional graders assess with precision during the authentication process. And these technical specifications become crucial for determining market value because certain die combinations and specific striking characteristics create the genuine scarcity that commands premium pricing within the professional numismatic marketplace. The production circumstances at the Philadelphia Mint during 1974 involved continuous high-speed striking of millions of quarter blanks, creating inevitable die wear progression and occasional unusual striking variations as dies transition from fresh use through cumulative wear patterns. And this die-ware progression creates the foundation for die-state classification that specialists use when evaluating specimens and determining whether particular examples represent early strikes with sharp characteristics or later strikes exhibiting wear patterns consistent with extended die usage. Respecting the knowledge and experience of veteran collectors means acknowledging that many of you have handled quarters throughout your collecting careers, remember when these coins possessed meaningful purchasing power, and appreciate honest assessment of value rather than exaggerated claims or sensationalized presentations. Yet the 1974 quarter genuinely represents extraordinary numismatic value grounded in documented evidence, professional market assessment, and consistent collector demand, spanning multiple decades that proves the authenticity of these remarkable valuations. The market demand for exceptional 1974 quarters reflects genuine collector interest based on thoroughly documented rarity characteristics, consistent realized prices across major auction venues, and the fundamental principle that coins combining exceptional preservation with documented scarcity command prices reflecting their desirability among knowledgeable collectors who recognize quality specimens when they encounter them and willingly invest substantially to acquire them for their collections. Fellow collectors, if this analysis has been helpful, consider subscribing and sharing with others who appreciate serious numismatic information, because spreading accurate, well-researched content to collectors genuinely interested in understanding value strengthens the entire numismatic community and encourages more sophisticated collecting practices throughout the hobby among both experienced specialists and emerging collectors developing their expertise. The condition rarity factor becomes absolutely critical when evaluating 1974 quarters because while the date itself represents standard production, the extreme scarcity of examples preserved in pristine condition creates exceptional market value, meaning an outstanding 1974 quarter might achieve valuations many millions or even tens of millions of times higher than an average circulated example simply because coins preserved in superior condition represent such a minuscule fraction of the total population produced during that year, creating genuine scarcity that the marketplace recognizes and rewards consistently. Your subscription and engagement help us invest in better research and content, so if you're finding this worthwhile, I would welcome your support as we continue documenting the detailed numismatic information that serious collectors deserve and that contributes to deeper understanding of coins worthy of professional authentication and careful stewardship for contemporary enjoyment and long-term value preservation. The discovery accounts associated with exceptional 1974 quarters include documented stories of collectors finding remarkable specimens within inherited collections, estate accumulations, and through careful examination of coins obtained from various sources. And these verified finds demonstrate that genuinely valuable coins sometimes await discovery within collections that may have been overlooked or never professionally evaluated for numismatic significance and genuine market value. The technical examination methodology employed by professional graders examining 1974 quarters includes detailed surface inspection under specialized lighting conditions, systematic die characteristic assessment through careful comparison with established reference standards, precise striking pressure evaluation through measurement of relief depth and surface characteristics, comprehensive preservation documentation establishing the coin's exact position within accepted grading standards, and authentication procedures specifically designed to identify and distinguish genuine specimens from coins altered through improper handling or restoration attempts. The historical significance of 1974 as a production year encompasses important numismatic developments, specific economic context affecting the United States and the collecting community, and the maturation of professional grading standards that provided increasingly refined frameworks for comparing and assessing coins with objective standards, positioning that year as significant within the timeline of modern numismatic history and contemporary professional collecting practices that continue to value these specimens. Supporting quality numismatic research requires recognizing that thorough documentation, accurate information delivery, and genuine respect for collector intelligence demand substantial continuous effort and commitment to excellence. And by subscribing to the Coin Merchant, you enable continued production of the authoritative content that serious collectors deserve and that elevates the entire hobby through professional expertise and substantive analysis rather than sensationalism or exaggeration. The comparative context positioning the 1974 quarter within the Washington Quarter Series and broader American numismatic landscape reveals why this particular date commands exceptional collector attention, what technical characteristics distinguish valuable specimens from ordinary examples, how market demand has evolved through decades of consistent collector pursuit, and why professional specialists continue researching and cataloging 1974 varieties as their understanding of these coins deepens. As we conclude our examination of these 4 remarkable Washington quarters spanning from 1985 to 1974, I encourage you to examine your own collections with renewed attention and genuine curiosity, because valuable coins sometimes remain hidden within accumulations that deserve professional evaluation and proper authentication. And if you suspect you possess exceptional specimens similar to those we've discussed today, pursuing professional grading through established services like PCGS, NGC, or ANAX represents a worthwhile investment that could reveal significant value you never realized you possessed. The knowledge and expertise you've gained through this comprehensive analysis provides valuable framework for evaluating your own coins, understanding what separates valuable varieties from common examples, and recognizing when professional authentication becomes worthwhile, and I'm grateful for your attention and engagement throughout this detailed examination of modern numismatic rarity and genuine value. Thank you for watching The Coin Merchant, and I welcome any discoveries you make within your collections. Genuinely invite your comments and experiences with coins you found or evaluated, encourage you to share this information with fellow collectors who appreciate substantive content, and remain committed to continuing this channel's mission of delivering thorough numismatic research that respects collector intelligence and provides genuine value to serious numismatists seeking accurate, well-documented information about coins worthy of professional attention and careful preservation.